The other day, I was having dinner with a friend who is so naive to believe that the Earth is round, and I was explaining to him how it was impossible for the Earth to be round. I shared what I thought were irrefutable proofs, like showing him a photo of me in Argentina a few years ago, where I wasn't walking upside down, which would obviously happen if the Earth were truly round. But despite his perplexity, he couldn't accept the reality that the Earth was flat, even in the face of such clear evidence. My friend was experiencing cognitive dissonance. So, what does cognitive dissonance mean? Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort that arises from holding two conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes. We all seek coherence in our attitudes and perceptions to avoid confusion, and when this coherence is lacking, the resulting conflict leads to unpleasant feelings of discomfort or unease. Inconsistency between what people believe and how they behave compels them to take actions that help minimize these feelings of discomfort. People try to relieve this tension in various ways, such as rejecting, explaining, or avoiding new information that contradicts their beliefs. Cognitive dissonance is based on the idea that when two ideas are not psychologically consistent, we change and make them coherent. If the conflicting ideas are deeply rooted in our identity, this mental imbalance can become overwhelming, leading us to believe even in the most absurd and outlandish things. We all experience cognitive dissonance to some extent, but it's not always easy to recognize. Some signs that what we are experiencing might be related to cognitive dissonance include feeling uneasy before doing something or making a decision, trying to justify or rationalize a decision or action we've taken, feeling embarrassed or ashamed of something we've done and trying to hide our actions from others, feeling guilt or regret for something we've done in the past, doing something because of social pressure or the fear of missing out, FOMO, even if it's not something we wanted to do. Various situations can create conflicts that lead to cognitive dissonance. Sometimes, people may behave contrary to their beliefs due to external expectations at work, school, or in social situations. This might involve going along with something because of peer pressure or doing something at work to avoid getting fired. Learning new information can also lead to feelings of cognitive dissonance. For example, if someone engages in a behavior that they later find out to be harmful, they may experience a sense of discomfort. People sometimes tackle this problem by finding ways to justify their actions or by discrediting or ignoring the new information. We make decisions every day, both big and small. When faced with two equally appealing choices, we often experience a sense of dissonance because both options seem attractive. However, once we make a choice, we must find a way to reduce these feelings of discomfort. To do this, we justify why our choice is the best option, so we can believe that we made the right decision. An American psychologist named Leon Festinger examined whether cognitive dissonance could be strong enough to make people believe in conspiracy theories even after they have been proven wrong. To investigate this, Festinger and his team joined an apocalyptic cult led by Dorothy Martin, a suburban housewife. Martin claimed to receive messages from superior beings from another planet called Clarion. The messages said that a flood would destroy the world on December 21, 1954. Psychologists observed that many members quit their jobs and gave away their belongings to prepare for the end of the world. When the day arrived and passed peacefully, Martin claimed that the world had been spared thanks to the force of good spread by the members. To cope with this situation and the heavy cognitive dissonance it produced, psychologists hypothesized that the members had two options. They could change their situation and abandon the beliefs and actions that formed their previous identity, but admitting they were wrong to many was sacrilege. The second choice was to add new beliefs consistent with the first ones to stay in the cult and protect the image they had formed of themselves. And that's exactly what happened. Some members faced the facts and left the cult to regain their sanity, while others believed in Martin's story to keep their threatened worldview alive. In their assessment, psychologists concluded that three conditions made it particularly difficult for members to leave. If the members had deeply rooted convictions that were relevant to their daily routine, if they had done things that were hard to erase, like squandering all their belongings thinking the world would end soon, if they received social support from other believers. Cognitive dissonance can make people feel uncomfortable, especially when the disparity between their beliefs and behaviors involves something central to their sense of self. For example, behaving in ways that are not aligned with one's personal values can cause intense feelings of discomfort. Your behavior contradicts not only the beliefs you have about the world but also those you have about yourself. Cognitive dissonance can also influence how people feel and see themselves, leading to negative feelings of low self-esteem. People like to believe they are logical, consistent, and good at making decisions. Cognitive dissonance can interfere with their perception of themselves and their abilities, which is why it can often be so unpleasant and displeasing. Leon Festinger later wrote, "A man with a conviction is a hard man to change. Tell him you disagree, and he turns away. Show him facts or figures, and he questions your sources. Appeal to logic, and he fails to see your point of view." When there are conflicts between cognitions, thoughts, beliefs, and opinions, people take action to reduce the dissonance and feelings of discomfort. Besides adding other beliefs to overcome the dissonant beliefs mentioned earlier, another frequent way to reduce cognitive dissonance is to diminish the importance of the conflicting belief. For instance, a person concerned about their health might be troubled to learn that sitting for long periods of the day is linked to a shorter lifespan. Since they work all day in an office and spend a lot of time sitting, changing their behavior is challenging. To manage these feelings of discomfort, they might find a way to rationalize the cognitive conflict. For example, they might justify their sedentary behavior by saying that other healthy behaviors, like eating reasonably and occasionally exercising, compensate for their largely sedentary lifestyle. Changing conflicting cognitions is one of the most effective ways to address dissonance, but it's also one of the most challenging, especially when it comes to deeply rooted values and beliefs, such as religious or political inclinations. Sometimes, the ways people resolve cognitive dissonance contribute to unhealthy behaviors or wrong decisions. Leon Festinger, the psychologist mentioned earlier, provides an example of how someone might cope with dissonance related to a healthy behavior, talking about individuals who continue to smoke despite knowing it's harmful to their health. According to Festinger, there are some ways a person might resolve this dissonance. They might place a higher value on smoking than on their health, believing that the behavior is worth it in terms of risks and rewards. They may downplay potential drawbacks, for example, convincing themselves that the negative health effects have been overstated or believing they can't avoid all possible risks. They might try to convince themselves that if they quit smoking, they'll gain weight, which also presents health risks. Leon Festinger first proposed the theory of cognitive dissonance, focusing on how people seek internal consistency. He suggested that people have an inner need to ensure that their beliefs and behaviors are consistent. Inconsistent or conflicting beliefs lead to disharmony, which people try to avoid. Cognitive dissonance plays a role in many value judgments, decisions, and evaluations. Becoming aware of how conflicting beliefs influence the decision-making process is an excellent way to improve one's ability to make faster and more accurate choices. Discrepancies between one's beliefs and actions can lead to feelings of discomfort, and sometimes coping choices that have a negative impact, but such feelings can also lead to change and growth. Now, tell me, what do you think? Share your thoughts and experiences with cognitive dissonance in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, I recommend checking out the video, The Ugly Side of Society, The Increase of Stupidity, which you can find on this channel. Remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell if you haven't already, so you don't miss future videos. Have a great day everyone, and see you next time.